Hello everybody. Shane Carlisle, Smart Money Trading on the 14th of the 8th, 2022. We're 45 minutes away from open, so I just thought I'd run through a few pairs. Okay, so I'm thinking Great British Pound pairs just to have a look at for London Open. So this is London, Great British Pound, makes sense. Let's get into the hour and just have a look at what's going on. Okay. We are trending down to probably a daily one down here. So I'll be looking for, didn't quite get that IPA there. We're in the fib zone here. So I've actually got that position marked up. That broke my structure. But we've just had this before. So yeah, so that broke it. So I've logged on into here and found a 15-minute. That didn't break. That did break. It came to equals with a candle, and then that pushed it to break that as well. So that would be my area on the GU. Obviously, I've drilled into the 15-minute to get that. Tried to break that IPA there, couldn't. I mean, if you put the IPA where it should be, at the wick to the wick. Tried to get in there, bounced off there. It's not broke that structure. Still inside this structure as such. Not really broke there. There's IPA sat down here. You know, we've had an accumulation and a push out there. But with having that sat behind it, the IPA and that massive engulfing setup, yes, that is a massive engulfing setup. So's that. That broke structure, but it was that move. And that'd be like 100% return on the move. And you're very, very slim chance of that ever happening. Of it retracing that far, you know, this is why they call it the golden zone, 71.88, because it's retracing 70% to get the move back. So that is actually set at 1 to 5 to previous lows, just below that IPA. 1 to 5 is good for anybody. I mean, if you're looking for next lows, it's 1 to 12. Next lows, 1 to 23. Complete bottom, 1 to 34. But 1 to 5 is plenty. A lot of people go for 0.5% a day. So that's 10 days trading for some people. In just over a day, if it happened within that square. And how many pips would be a 70 pip move? So I've got a lot of traders that I know of, and they go for 10 pips a day. So 7 days trading. With a rejection off that. Amazing. Got a break. Broke 2 previous structures. Sorry guys, phone's on stop at the moment. Yeah, so 70 pip move there. 1 to 5 GU. That's the area I'll be looking at today. Well, this coming week. Sort of crawling back up. We're having these sharp spikes back up to collect these orders. Came back to get that order, but blasted through on the next candle, and then it came back up. It's consolidated a little bit. It's broke down to collect that imbalance. You see how the algorithms work? Let me show you. Okay, so the banks push. They come back to collect some IPA. The banks push. It's created liquidity, which is just another word for IPA. It's just a bigger form of it. We've hit this area of interest because it's rejected. We've consolidated. Banks have pushed, broke in one candle, broke all that structure there, and then the following few candles broke that structure. Tried to retrace to take that IPA back, couldn't. Created more IPA on the way down. So the banks have pushed. They wanted something that was down here. Couldn't quite make. See how the 71 lined up there. Didn't quite make the candle. I'm actually sat down here from the 15-minute, or it might even be the hour. You see how they've not quite made it? They need this money back. So we need. Not quite got it there. We tried, so we could possibly see. Might even see it come down to get that before it goes up here. But ultimately, we're in a downtrend. Yes, it's internally breaking to the upside. But until that breaks, there's no trend change. You can find little patterns inside the internal structure that will get you up to the daily candles. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at for the GEJ. Keep it in the hour so it's a bit more visible. And then I'll go through and find me 15-minute entries. The G card. We are trending down. Low highs, low highs, low highs, low highs. Okay, we have just broke internal structure there, which gives us that area there. I broke down into the 15-minute. If it's going to turn round, for a bounce back up. Same again. We don't need to be greedy. On to 6. No need for greed. So let's just look. We've come down. We broke internal structure here. See that? That broke it. In fact, that broke it. But then they came back for their orders there, which I caught a 1 to 12 off. But don't forget, there's this IPA under here. Can't just quite break through. Just did there. So that's broke under. So for me, you've got all that IPA sat there. Literally just on the It's just sat on that IPA now. Let's bring in the break of structure line. There when it first broke. Okay. And that's where it broke again. For that move. Okay, so in the hour, okay, 1 to 6. Rejection off there. There's possibility if it goes back to the next banker's move of a 1 to 14. Very top. 1 to 24. 1 to 6 should do. GU in the hour. This is actually tagged in. 15-minute area was in here. We've come back to collect all this IPA. See that. Wick to wick. IPA got took back. It retested it a couple of times, but then ultimately it took it back, creating more imbalance here. We are in the hour and we are trending up. See the that broke the internal structure, which left that candle. Get it? Just missed it. Possibly coming back for that. What was that you mean? That would have been a loss. Yeah, so that one would have been a loss. It didn't cut. That would have been in your fib zone. From to where the move happens. Yeah, that lines up in your fib zone. So you could have put your stop loss at the end of your fib zone, I suppose. But that's not something I ever do. I always either give it, if it's under 10, I give it a 10 pip stop loss. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If it's under 10, I give it 10. Or if the two candles are quite nicely sized together, I'll incorporate both of them into one move. Yeah, if you do, I mean, it might be something to look into. If it falls like that, because you would have caught that move there, that at the bottom. You would have caught a 1 to 7 using the back end of your fib as a stop loss. Not too bad, I suppose. 30 pip stop loss. You see where I'm going? Don't need that. That Just gonna look. So I think we see that one impulse move broke that. So there's so much money there. And obviously they've come back to collect the imbalance they've created. So they've got all that money back, and then they've just got all this money from people sat following this down. All your retail traders are trading the trend. They're all trailing the stop loss. Ooh, profit. And then it's turning around and spiking them out. Because we know, we see these things happening all the time. You know, here, but the break off. You could class that as the move because it was the last before the push. Yeah, long position. Get there. For your bottom. It rode for a 1 to 5. Just from looking for the break of structure. Break of structure is king. No joke. If you want to catch good moves with a good risk to reward, you've got to understand what a break of structure is. It sounds very easy to say, oh, it broke the previous high. But you could, if you're looking at it that way in the safe mode, that didn't break the previous high. So is that a break of structure? Would you see that as a break of structure? Because it didn't break, but this broke all this structure. So that one move broke 5 pieces of structure, but not the 6th. So would you class that as a break of structure? You know, it's how you perceive things and how you see things. Now I see that's broke 5 points of structure and left one behind. So probabilities to me is that it wants to move upwards because it's just took out 5 lots of structure. Yes, it didn't take the final high out, but it needs to come back to collect that massive candle. So why would it blast through to then have to work its way back when it could comfortably sit at that price, knowing there's buyers or sellers up here anyway, collect their imbalance and now make their way back up? I'm not looking for big numbers like that one. That's at previous highs now at a 1 to 7. But if I was to go for the imbalance, meet the imbalance up, it's a 1 to 16. So yeah, GU, what other pairs have we got? What are the so if that eats that imbalance back, we've got a 1 to 16 off that. Just that one pair. What are we doing here? Okay. Yeah. So if it eats that IBA back up, that's comfortably sitting at a 1 to 16. And then let's just have a run through the Euro A. That was a good one. The Euro A. So there was a 1 to 13 last week off this pair. From this candle here, we had the break, which gave me that candle. Came back, flagged away, we consolidated, and then we came back. We took off for a 1 to 15. Okay. Again, we consolidated, we broke. Give me the candle. That was the break. So there was a candle here, and that fell for a 1 to 36. It was a good trade last week, that one. But we can't be seeing impulse moves like this, and I'm not retracing back to collect all this IPA, you know. It's just broke. Levels of structure there to the downside. We do have a candle down here. It has just hit a daily. It's just hit my daily there. Make it a bit bigger so I can see it. We have actually just hit that. 7 o'clock. So for me now, where we are, I'd like to see that break, and then I'd look in this area for a bounce back up to take some of this IPA back. So yes, I'd like to see that break because it's came back to collect from that break. So quite like the hour view. So it's got to come up now and break that for me to be interested. If it doesn't break that, it's just going to turn around and carry on dropping. And there is candles down here. That needs to be white, I think. Because there's these daily ones down here. These are just like targets. And then we just look for patterns that move it to these targets. But always looking for the breaker structure before I'm looking for anything else. CAD J. I'm still actually waiting on this one. Looks like we've done a nice consolidation. I could see a nice little spike down to take in. That's sitting at a 1 to 5. I do like this as a trade because we are heading up. That move, I bet you if we go into here, that broke that. See that move? There, broke that. But then there, broke that. So I was to put a fib on. Is it that? Or would you put the fib there? Where the move actually broke. If I was to put it there, that's giving me a candle down here. But it came up, served its price there, then gives that. So I could extend my stop loss to the end of that. Make the fib zone bigger. Still sat on IBA. 1 to 3. And back down. Tagged in. Double mitigated. Took off. Anyway, CAD that would be classed as the break. What a nice little tag down in for the 1 to 3 to get that break. Which would then give me another area. Odd USD. We just broke a daily. Okay, just broke that daily one there. So we're in an area of interest. See how it's climbed, it's broke. That structure, it's broke. That structure, it's not quite broke. A higher high, so we are in a good position for a turnaround. But again, wanting break of structure before. For the hour, I'd class that as my break. So I'll be looking for it to pass that and then look for it to come back round to an area here. We do have these areas for it to go higher, but to keep in with the downtrend in the higher time frames, this would be the turnaround. So I'd like to see a break of structure and then a recoup. So I'd like to see it break, come back, tag me in, drop to previous, possibly take that IPA. And I hopefully be sat there. Just above that. Previous for 1 to 8. That's what I'd like to see. We'll keep that on. So we've got around the lines. What we got here. I'd like to see that rate. Come back down to a candle here. And you could be sat there, I suppose. Previous highs. 1 to 4. Anyway, that's looking. We are trending down, down, sideways a bit there. Broke structure here, but don't forget it's broke here. It's broke here, and then it blasted through. Yes, it did. When it broke there, it did come back, take off. So you'd have caught that move because the break was there. That broke that, and it did reject off that area. Ultimately, it went sideways for a bit. So once that imbalance had been created, I'd have probably sold out because it's had 2 hours there of massive price action. You'd have got in there. Would you wick? Come to the top. Previous highs. And you got a 1 to 7. Just off a rejection. But then ultimately it came down and took that candle back from there and dropped. So if you're selling, we're still in sell mode because you didn't break your higher. Then you had another break to the downside. That would have been your area. So you'd have caught that downwards move. But that's what I'm looking at there. The GC. I'm looking for it to take that IPA back and bounce off for a 1 to 7. This is currently active. Previous highs is already at a 1 to 7, but I'm looking for it to take that IPA back for 1 to 16. This fell for a 36. Just look, it's hit a daily candle, so I'm just looking for it to break structure to the upside. CAD J, we've broke, which has given me the area. It's consolidated above my area, which is sat on some IPA for a 1 to 4. Don't think we did out with the odd U, did we? Oh yeah, sorry, I put. We've just broke a daily. We've just turned around. I'm looking for the breaker structure before I look for the. So that's going to give me a 1 to 9. No, come on, 10 pips. A 1 to 7. So in total, what we get? 4. 10. 26. Counted that one. 26, 30, 37. So looking at about 37% growth over 5 pairs for tomorrow. In the next couple of days. Market's open soon. What we got? 10 minutes. I won't be looking to do anything until about 6 o'clock in the morning, though. Just thought I'd put a little video out there for everyone to wake up to. Yeah, I'll see you on the next one, guys. Anyone wants any information or anything, just reach out. I'm always about. Always have a chat with you. I'm not a monster. I've learned a skill that can change your life. Hit me up, guys.